Hey there guys, so this is a review of the Lenovo Y50. So let's just start out with what it comes shipped with. It comes with, of course, the Lenovo laptop and this charger. For size comparisons, there's my HTC One beside it. The height and width match quite accurately. It's just a little bit longer and a little bit thinner than the HTC One. And it's a lot thicker, so it's a relatively large charger compared to other laptops, and it's also quite heavy. So let's just start out with some of its external specifications about how this laptop looks and feels in the hand and how thick it is and how heavy it is. The laptop has a width of 15.23 inches, has a depth of 10.37 inches, and a height of just 0.9 inches, which is less than an inch, which I think is really, really competitive when it comes to gaming market, and has a weight of 5.7 pounds. So let's just start out with the front of the laptop. In the front, it has 4 LED indicators. On the extreme left is the power indicator. On its right is the battery indicator. On its right is the screen off indicator, and on its right is the hard drive use indicator. Moving on to the right side of the laptop, it has a SPDIF port and a headphone jack, SD card slot, a USB always on, and a laptop lock. The USB always on means that the USB stays on even if the laptop is shut down or in standby or any sort of state where the laptop is not physically on. All the USBs on this laptop are USB 3, and on this right is the speaker, which we will talk about later in the review. The look and feel of this laptop is absolutely phenomenal. It has a great metal finish to it, and it feels and looks really good to the touch, although it is kind of a fingerprint magnet. Coming up on the other side, there's the power port on the left, and then there's the Ethernet port, the HDMI port, and 2 USB 3 ports. The USB 3 ports are red in color to contrast the design of the laptop. This laptop also does not have a CD drive, which for some users might be a hindrance, so beware, it does not have a CD drive to make the thickness a lot thinner. So moving on to the bottom of this laptop, it has a large fan, which works really well for gaming as it does not heat up as much. It also has a subwoofer to the side, which I am a great fan of as it enhances the audio experience significantly. So let's open up this laptop, and it has another fan inbuilt between the lid and the body of this laptop, which works also really well as it does not heat up the sides of the laptop, and is really efficient in cooling itself. So let's talk about the mouse of this laptop. It has a great mouse. It has a 10-point multi-touch mouse. You can use 2 fingers for scrolling up, down, left, right. I really like it. I'm a great fan of it. Although at night and in complete silence, it's really loud. It makes a loud click noise when you're clicking something. But that's the only problem that I have with it. Otherwise, it's pretty good, quite responsive. Pretty good. It does not attract fingerprints. Now let's move on to the keyboard of this laptop. The keyboard is the AccuType Lenovo keyboard, which really helps me typing at least. And it also has 2 stages of backlight. It has one slight backlight and then a really bright one. The lower one is it's good. They're both really good, except in the camera it shows up pink. In real life, it's not as pink. The speakers on this laptop scream premium. They're JBL speakers made for Lenovo especially, and they're so crisp, clear, and loud. You're performing to a classroom or present a presentation, no problem, you can just present with your laptop. I've never actually had to use these laptop speakers at 100, as even when presenting to a classroom, I'm at maybe 80 because 100 is just far too loud. Let's move on to the display of this laptop. It comes in 3 variants. There is a 1080p model, there's a 1080p touch model, then there's a 4K model. So the model I have is the 1080p touch model, which works really well. So let's start off with the bottom with the 1080p non-touch display. It has a matte finish, so it's not as reflective. It has deep blacks, bright whites. So overall, I would rate it a little bit higher than the touch display, as the touch display lacks some of the deeper blacks, and the touch display is a little bit more washed out. In no way is it a bad display, but it's just not as good as the matte display. Moving on to the 4K display, that display is gorgeous. It has extremely great blacks, great whites, great saturation, contrast. Everything is extremely well done. Hats off to Lenovo for doing a extremely good job with it. Except that there's not enough media for us to consume on it. So that is where the hindrance comes in with the 4K display. The display I would recommend for now is either the 1080p model, non-touch, or the 1080p touch model, depending on which one you prefer. If you prefer better quality over touch, then go for the 1080p display. But if you want touch, then go for the 1080p touch model. The 4K right now is not really viable at this moment. You could use it, it's gorgeous to look at on a daily basis. Your videos will run fine, but if you're trying to find 4K media, there isn't that much available to stream or to watch. And if you're planning on playing 4K games, they won't run. Any 4K games like Titanfall does not run at all. It just unplayable frame rates. So that is a sacrifice you're going to make for it. You can always play it on 1080p, but then you're kind of losing out the entire factor of having a 4K model. So that is all up to you. Depends on which model you prefer, which one you want to buy. I have the touch model as I just wanted the touch. The webcam on this laptop is pretty adequate. It does its job well. It has a resolution of 720p and a decent frame rate, so you appear in a video rather than images. Skyping works well with this laptop, and overall, I'm quite impressed with it. Nothing bad to say about it. Internal specifications about this laptop. It has an operating system of Windows 8.1 64-bit, an NVIDIA GTX 860M. It comes in two variants, 2GB and 4GB, both with the Maxwell architecture. The Maxwell architecture keeps it cooler than the previous generation Kelper, which the Lenovo Y50 had. And overall, this runs a lot cooler, and performance is relatively the same as the GT750M SLI of the previous generation. It has a processor of Intel Core i7 4710HQ, clocked at 2.5 GHz, and has a 6 MB cache. It has up to 16 gigs of RAM DDR3L. There's a variant with 8 gigs and 16 gigs. Of course, that also depends on your preference, although 16 gigs is what everyone's going to go with. It has a storage of 1 TB hybrid SSD HD with integrated 8 GB flash, or you can just go with the 512 gigs of SSD. The connections are a Bluetooth 4.0, Intel dual band wireless AC 3160. Of course, it has to have Wi-Fi, so it has Wi-Fi. And Lenovo says it has up to 5 hours of battery on Wi-Fi browsing. Although that is kind of skewed because this laptop has good battery life, I would say it gets you around 3.5 hours. The battery is 54,760 megawatts. That's what the capacity says in the Energy Manager. So yeah, the battery will get you around 3.5 hours on regular usage. You're using Microsoft Word or browsing the internet. That's how much you should get. On gaming, it'll give you around an hour 15 minutes if you're lucky. So you might want to carry that large power cord around. So on this laptop, I'm pretty sure all of you want to know how it does on benchmarks and in daily performance. But the first benchmark that I ran was Geekbench. It scored a great score in single core score of 2,977. And the multi-core score of 10,702, which is quite impressive. 3D Mark I thought ran quite sluggishly on this laptop, but overall apparently didn't do too bad. It had a score of 3,608, which came in the sweet spot just above gaming laptops, which is what this laptop is, a portable gaming laptop for. Moving on to how it does in daily life. The CPU handles all the math extremely well. I have been using Photoshop, After Effects, and Premiere, and it has no problem coping with it. It works significantly better than its previous generation, giving me around 20-25% boost on how much time it takes to render and how responsive it is in After Effects. Also, in gaming, this laptop works like a beast. It goes most games at high settings, depending on which generation they are. If it's Titanfall, I can play it on high. Watch Dogs also high. Sometimes there's a bit lag, so I would recommend this laptop for the everyday gamer, not a hardcore gamer, not a casual gamer, just someone who plays games for fun and cares a little bit about graphics, but he's still okay with playing it at a little bit lower settings. I'd recommend this laptop for students who want to carry it around but still want to have the portability of gaming, or adults who like to carry a laptop around and play games on it. This laptop I would highly recommend for the price point of $1,200 as of 2014 in Canada plus tax. So yeah, I would highly recommend this laptop for anyone who's looking for portability and slight high gaming, and it has all the works. You can watch movies on it, you can play games on it, you can browse the web, it's a touch screen, you can use After Effects to draw on it, all that sort of stuff. So I hope you have liked my review. Please like and subscribe. Comment if you think I can improve somehow, or I can do something, which if you want me to review a laptop, just drop me a comment and I'll see if I can get my hands on it. Alright, thanks for watching, and there will be annotations at the end of the video saying, showing other videos like this, or there's a Watch Dogs gaming test on this laptop, Titanfall, League, and I'll keep adding more, so just check out my channel. Alright, thanks for watching.